Welcome to Not All Business, a podcast by two former CEOs who went from competitors to friends. I'm Blakely Graham, and my co-host is Heather Cooper. And we're joined by our producer, Clay Cornell, who we trust weekly to keep us from going off the rails. And today, speaking of, we're talking about trust, the invisible force that's either building your team or quietly destroying it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun.
Oh, we all did it.
So it was my birthday this week, okay? So I got some beautiful flowers from some friends. Don't you love a fresh flower?
Always.
Yeah. And so my sweet husband, who, by the way, ever since we started dating, has totally nailed every gift ever that he's given me. He's so good at it. And so my expectations over the years have gotten pretty high, right? So we sit down, I have 3 gifts. Open the first one, beautiful. Second one, beautiful, perfect, nailed it. This really cool picture frame, this really cool vase. Each thing from a different place. We went in Italy on our honeymoon, so very thoughtful, very sweet. The next one we open up, it looks like this really cool picture, and I love art, and I love that. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be like a really cool piece of art. Mm-hmm. So open it up, I see the word craft, and already I'm getting nervous. The heart rate's rising. I am a horrible craft person. I am the worst. And I'm like, oh, is this a craft?
Buy you like a latch kit?
It's worse. Then I peeled back the paper, paint by number. And I'm like, oh, he doesn't know me at all. Like 2 years, like doesn't know me at all. Flip it over. It is a painting of Lake Como, like big, with the paint by number down to the tiniest little numbers and this thing is so detailed and so intense. And this is the aspirational part. He's like, I just thought, you have a stressful life, you have a stressful job, all this stuff. Like, it'd be really nice. You just bring it out, kind of meditate and paint. And I was like, oh boy, this is like the opposite of like stress relief for me. This is like, I can't even go to those fucking Pinot's palette things where it's like you're supposed to be following and drinking wine and having fun. Yeah, and
the
there's
paint and sips.
Right, the paint and sips, and there's no lines I even have to follow. Like, it's a blank canvas. You really can't screw it up. Like, you can just, and this is like very detailed, clearly out of the lines. And I tried so hard to be sweet about it. I was like, I love you, and I love that that's where you're thinking. I'm like, I'm just a little worried it's not going to be quite stress-free for me. I'm worried this is going to put me into like performance mode, and I'm like, there's a good chance it ends up in the garbage like within the first 2 hours. Like, I hope you didn't spend too much on this.
Okay, first, let's break it down. That is the sweetest gift ever because it's from your wedding, which just happened this year. It's
so
super
sweet.
recent. And he's worried about your stress, right?
He is.
Yeah.
But doesn't know me enough to know
but
that that is the
doesn't know
opposite.
you. This is not good.
Is it going to work out? I know. I'm nervous about it.
No. Thank goodness we have a husband's episode coming up really soon.
We're going to have to talk about it. It was very sweet. And I was like, okay, here's the deal. So I tried. I pulled out the stuff and being a good sport.
Oh my gosh, you opened it.
Oh, totally.
Like, what is she going to do? Oh. Like, try to put it on eBay?
Opened it and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe you're right. Like, I was still very positive at this point. Yeah. And I got it out and I'm like, there's big letters at the bottom that say Lake Como. Like, a toddler could get it right. And I already at the first like line, all of a sudden it's like I have like, what's the shaking, like Parkinson's. It's like I can't, too much pressure. My hands start shaking. I'm outside of the lines. He goes, but then there's white where you could cover up like the black and then you put white on top of it. And I'm like, then I'm going to get white on the black. Like, it was just a whole thing. And he goes, how about this? And this is the really sweet part, because I trusted him with being honest about it, because I could have lied and then had this pressure to carry around. And I was like, I can't build this marriage. It's like trust foundation. Had to do it. So I was like, okay, here's the deal. This is really stressing me out. I gave it a 10-minute try. And he goes, what if I painted it for you? And I'm like, now you're talking. That's romantic. So he's going to paint it. He's going to de-stress himself. And then I hang it on my wall. And then my husband painted me a picture of Lake Como. And I said, sometimes maybe I'll pick it up and like paint white on the side or something and, not get in there. But so that's the plan.
Sweet.
That's really nice.
Is it nice? Or should I have sucked it up? Like, did I do that okay? Or does that mean, should I have just been like, this is beautiful. Thank you for the thought. Yes, I'll try it. And went on. Or should I have been honest? And
I don't know.
Sorry. Go ahead, Blakely.
No, you go ahead, Clay.
Okay. So my first question is, do you feel like he got the idea that like, hey, this kind of gift actually isn't the kind of gift that I want?
Yeah.
Or is he learning that right now?
He's learning it. Oh, no.
Oh, like while he's listening to the show?
Yes.
That's not good.
I mean, I'm not that good of an actress. Like he definitely, like he got it. He's like, well, they can't all be winners. I was like, no, I love the thought. But then I was like, what an asshole. Like, should I have just been really nice and grateful about it? Because the intention was so good. But then I felt like I wanted to be honest.
I mean, I think you could address all the sweet things, like all the thought, like you just did, and then be honest in maybe a comical kind of way, which I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
You're
It worked
just
out.
learning that stuff. You guys are newlyweds. You don't know. Like I would not know if I'm trying to think. Would I know if Scott would enjoy a paint by number? I don't know. We've been married for 20 years.
I say one way to find out. One way to find out.
That's
buy him one for
getting
Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll see how he reacts.
No.
And I just want to say shout out to Nick for buying a gift where he was like, hey, I want to, like Blakely had said, I want to address the fact that I know your job is really stressful. And of course, like Blakely said, again, you can't win them all.
Right.
But I really like that he, at the very end, was like, I am going to paint this for you. I am going to take this into my own hands. He's going to be painting with it. And then, like you said, you're going to join him for whatever little bit you want and then keep going. And it'll be like actually this kind of gift of love that keeps happening like in your house.
Exactly. The relationship building.
Totally.
Over it. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Or turns out it was a great thing.
Or he'll halfway through be like, hey, I can't do this. And you'll be like, that's okay.
Let's give it to Blakely.
Let's give it to Blakely.
I will say one thing. I will say I did feel a little bit bad because I know his heart was in the right place, but I did feel like it was important to be vulnerable, to build that trust and to just say, you know what, this isn't going to be like any other relationship I've had, and we're going to continue to get to know each other, and we're going to make it fun because it's so, so important. Trust, foundation of any relationship, not just marital, but friends and coworkers. And so we have an expert today on the show who's going to teach us all about the importance of trust in leadership and at work.
Yeah.
Blakely, you want to introduce our guest?
Our guest today is Carolyn Keyes, a former C-suite executive turned thought partner and executive coach. With a deep understanding of human behavior and leadership dynamics, she works with executives, founders, and creative industry professionals to navigate complexity, scale their organizations, and achieve lasting personal and professional growth. But here's the full circle moment. In our very first episode of Not All Business, we interviewed Jamie Cole, who began a life-changing journey prompted by the words of her executive coach. And that coach was also my life-changing coach. And that is Carolyn Keyes. She's here to talk about trust, not as a soft skill, but as the invisible currency that fuels collaboration, creativity, and human connection. Carolyn, welcome to Not All Business. Everyone is looking for an advantage in their marketing that they can digest in a clear, fun format. Well, there's one podcast I want to tell you about that's changing the game. It's called Your Audience is Waiting, and it's for business leaders who are done with surface-level marketing advice. Hosted by visibility and content strategist Alicia Everett, this isn't a show about posting more content. It's about aligning your visibility strategy with actual business goals and revenue. Alicia helps CEOs, founders, and ready-to-scale business owners build strategic visibility ecosystems that position you as the authority in your space and convert attention into customers. Real frameworks, real ROI. Clay, that's return on investment. So if you're leading a business and you want to grow, go subscribe to Your Audience is Waiting wherever you listen to podcasts. Back to the show.
Hi.
I'm happy to be here.
Carolyn!
Hi.
Finally, all of the hype, and we have you in the flesh. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited to be here. I've watched every show, so there you go. It's nice to be on the other side now.
Yeah, exactly. How would you rate Heather and her husband and the story that Heather just shared? Like, was that like good trust building, or did she like
you can
like
be honest,
knock him down? Like, was that like good for human connection? Are they going to make it, Carolyn? Are they going to make it?
Okay, I'll put my crystal ball. Yes, I would say so, because you did it in a very loving way. And like you said, every time he's, made it great. Mm-hmm. But I think the most telling thing is when he offered to paint it, that you said, how amazing would that be to be able to look at a painting that he actually created for me that's representative of Lake Como and where we spent time, I think on your honeymoon, correct?
Yeah, marriage. Yeah, we got married there and then honeymoon. Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
so it wasn't
sweet.
just like, oh, I hate it, get rid of it. That's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
So to kick it off, I kind of want to go back to that intro where I was quoting you, like you call trust the invisible currency of human connection. And I know we do often think of trust as, I don't know if I would call it a soft skill, but it's like this thing that just kind of sits there. And I didn't even actually ever maybe necessarily think of it as a skill. I just know it's something that can be made or broken, but you actually say it's strategic. And so I'm just curious what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, trust is really fundamental to everything in life. If you think about it, if you have high trust, you have high creativity, innovation, you feel very safe. When you have low trust, you have very low innovation, creativity. You don't feel safe. And so to me, and it's the foundational principle for everything, whether it's relationships, work, our coworkers, friends, family, whomever. And, I have to ask the question, because usually people say, I either trust you or I don't trust you, or I trust situation or I don't. So if I were to ask each of you, what would be your definition of trust? Like Blakely, what would be your definition?
For me, trust is, there's so many ways I could define it, but the most important kind of trust to me is the one where I feel like can I go last? This is the most high pressure question I've ever had. Okay, Heather, hot seat.
I've never been asked to define trust.
And it's okay to say pass.
It is really
it's like a feeling, right?
I can't pass. It feels so defeating. No, it's for me, it's complete and total vulnerability, putting my feelings, my success, whatever, in the hands of someone else, like trusting that, like handing over the control, handing over power, I think for me, it's like more on the reliability side. Like I have a picture of you, and when I put something in your, sorry, Clay, I hit the mic, but when I put something in your hands, I kind of trust that you will fit that picture I have of you. Like you will reliably deliver whatever. It could be love back to me. It could be a deliverable back to me, but it's like I trust that you fit my picture, which is actually a really weird way to say it. Maybe that doesn't even make sense. Clay is a millennial, and I feel like they're very in tune to these soft skills.
Wow, a lot of pressure
all
now.
Of them.
The whole generation.
The
whole generation.
And I speak for every millennial. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Okay, I get it.
I guess the idea that I have is, when I close my eyes, I trust that the same thing is happening when my eyes are open. And when I turn my back, if I have like an example of like a person and I turn away, I trust that I can idealize, I feel safe. I understand what is happening behind me as I do in front of me. Like I have some sense of like safety or like understanding or faith or belief. that
That's a good way to put it.
What is happening in the relationships that I have that I trust, I trust people. I have some type of understanding that what I see in front of me, and when I turn away, I know what's happening. I feel safe, or like I feel like I can actually turn around, or I can close my eyes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, this is why trust is so tricky, though. If you think about it, every person has a little bit different definition, which is true for them, right? So if I give you a definition that's very kind of boiled down, it's really choosing to risk making something you value vulnerable to another person's actions.
Yeah.
Can you say that one more time?
You all touched on it. Yeah. So trust is choosing to make something you value vulnerable to another person's actions. It's that vulnerability of allowing someone in. Because if you think of distrust, it's protecting that which you value because you assess it's not safe with the other person.
That's a great definition.
It is. I feel like it was closest to mine. I feel like I won that round. Next question.
Point.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally joking.
We're only going to do a Q&A today.
I don't know.
No, that feels right. It helped when you said, too, if you look at the opposite, like mistrust, distrust, it helps define it, too.
But there has to be, and I go back to like you said, different definitions. But and I remember from our training, what was that, 10 years ago, like the pillars of trust. Like I think about my relationships with my children, and I trust them to do certain things, and I don't trust them to do other things. And it's a really weird concept because I'm like, okay, but we have trust, but we don't have like all the trust. So do I have trust with my kids, or do I not have trust? Or is it situational trust, or is there different kinds of trust? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question because, again, if I break down trust, and I'll get to what you just said in a minute, Blakely, there are really 4 distinctions because, again, if you say I either trust you or I don't trust you, that you're talking about a continuum. You may trust your kids to do certain things. You don't trust them to do other things. And that doesn't mean you don't inherently trust them. So there's 4 ways you can look at it. There's sincerity. It's kind of what Clay was talking about. If I tell you something and then tell something a little different, somebody else a little different version, and then tell somebody else something a little different, if those 3 get together, they're going to assess that I'm not sincere because I've got a different version for everybody. And there's reliability. In other words, if you make a request and I say, yes, I'm going to do it, I've made a promise. And therefore, if I don't follow through, it can be assessed as not being reliable. And so the third one then is competence. And how many times have you in your career maybe met somebody that said, oh yeah, I'm totally trained on this, or I can do this. They really want the job, right? I have no problem. And then they get in the position and all of a sudden you're like, well, they said they knew how to do this and they don't. There's a training issue there where they maybe overpromised or had a little bit more in their ego about how great they were at doing this. And they actually need training on it because they're not competent. They have the standards you've set are not the standards they can achieve. And then there's care. Do I take into consideration what I need along with what others need? And sometimes people push back on that and say, well, if I have to do a RIF or layoffs, whatever, obviously I have to do it and I just have to tell them that, they're going to be let go. And to me, the care means that, yes, that's going to happen, but how you show up and how you do it can demonstrate care and can actually enhance trust.
I love that because then you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's okay to trust someone on one level but not another, instead of just being like, nope, I don't trust this person off, and writing it off completely. Sorry, Blakely, what were you going to say? Well,
I would also say, I think it also really depends on the individual. Like I might value certain pillars of trust more than other pillars of trust. Like reliability and competence to me they outweigh maybe the sincerity pillar a little bit. And so I can see how I might have friction with some employees versus other employees or colleagues based on what kind of trust we've built and maybe kind of what is not there. And Carolyn, I have to tell you, so we have sticky situations that our listeners write in about and for us to talk about. And I did not send you any ahead of time because I didn't actually think we were going to necessarily get into sticky situations today. But you just literally, I had one that I thought might apply, and you just actually used it as your example. So I have to read it because I'm dying. It's here it is. I actually have two. I hired someone who interviewed incredibly well, but they can't actually do what they said they could do. Mm-hmm. So like work isn't getting done, clients are noticing, and I'm covering for them constantly. And they genuinely seem to believe they're capable. How do I address this without destroying their confidence or creating like a toxic dynamic?
Yeah, this is great because I love these sticky situations. Yeah. It's great because honestly, the person could just say, the leader could just say, hey, I don't trust them. They're out. And next thing they know, they're on a PIP. And what I look at is, okay, what I'm hearing is the person may care. They may very much be enthusiastic and care about what they're doing, but they've got a competence issue. They probably have a reliability issue if they're not contacting clients or are falling down on that. And sincerity, because obviously they told that person who had hired them that they could do it. And then they may have said to somebody else, they're not walking their talk. And so for me as a leader, what I would do is sit that person down and say, I wouldn't say, hey, I don't trust you in these 3 domains. And this one, you're okay. Because of course they have no distinctions, right? Yeah. But what I would do is start with actual examples from each area and to say, this is what you promised in the interview. This is how you showed up. And here are the things that I'm noticing. And competence is probably the easiest one to rebuild because maybe the person needs training. Maybe the person came into the company and were hardly trained at all, right? They just threw them in and maybe there's a certain system that they do. So maybe it's a competence issue. They need a little more time with that. The reliability, if they're missing deadlines, they're saying yes to things and they're not following through. They need examples. And then you need to let them know, how are we going to, I want to hear from you how you're going to adjust and fix this, because this is something that is not acceptable, but also it's not, people are not going to trust you because you keep missing deadlines. And then how are you going to go about making sure that you get these deadlines handled, or you say, no, I can't do that, but here's what I could do, instead of just saying yes to everything. Because we are a society, especially in business, somebody makes a request, we're like, yeah, I can do that. Without even looking at workloads or outside people, right? That maybe need to be a part of this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. And then the sincerity part, that's a little trickier because people a lot of times feel they're being sincere. And then you're finding that they're just not. They're not being sincere, and you've got to actually address it. Say you do this, you didn't do this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm interrupting. The training piece, because I really got stuck on that, because I think I've done a bad job of really engaging training at the level I need to, because I just get frustrated because in my mind, I think you should know how to do this. I have sent you links to this training video. I have done this, but instead of really connecting to follow up and say, were you able to watch that video? Did you have any questions? Because I get so impatient and I'm like, why am I at this level still having to come down? And it feels like micromanaging, which I don't like to do. But then I start to question the integrity. Like I switch to the fact that it's like, okay, they're saying they care. I've given them this opportunity. I'm still seeing mistakes. What's the problem? And so then I think, oh, they're scamming me, or they don't really want to work, or they don't really care, instead of skipping over like, well, maybe this is new to them. The things that they do know how to do, are they doing that well? They see this gap, and I think I rushed to that too quickly. I think giving them that chance to say like, and ask about the training, be a little more specific, and maybe handhold a little bit through it and say, hey, let's screen share for a minute. Let's walk you through any questions. And then if it's still not coming back, I'm skipping over the sincerity part, or I'm judging. I'm starting to lose trust on that sincerity level because I'm going to the reliability or the competence issue and assuming they should know it because I've given them this. Why have they not responded?
Well, and I would say too, I think it's to hold them, I believe in accountability. And you're giving them the things they need, and yet it's still not happening. So I do agree there is some maybe on your part that would be good to do check-ins. But on the other hand, maybe the request is to them that you want them to check in and what are they learning from this? What have they discovered? What do they find that's difficult that they may need more of an in-person explanation versus a link? And that kind of thing where it's not on you micromanaging them, but it's on them taking ownership and saying, I need a little more help. Heather, do you have time? I'll put date in your calendar, that type of thing.
Right. Yeah. Here's this link. Go do this. Let's talk next week, and you tell me any gaps in your understanding still. So it's like they're still running that because they do also run the risk of feeling like I'm doing everything for everyone all the time kind of thing. And so.
Well, and that doesn't sit well because what happens is then people can sometimes get resigned like, she'll do it. I don't have to worry about it. She'll just do it.
She'll cover it. She'll catch my mistake. Yeah. She'll fall through. Totally.
Do you know what made me just break out in hives? It was when you said it's bad to say yes. Like I say yes to everything. And I think about just the podcast and we're in kind of startup mode, right? This is episode, I think this is episode 14. 15.
Yeah.
And we're learning so much new stuff. It's like a lot of creativity. I feel like we have a lot of trust with each other to like be safe and learn all this stuff and try on these things. Yet I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that because I think I know intuitively I can. I will. I've got the grit to figure it out. But I then say,
are you about to confront me like live on air that I'm not doing enough? I can feel it coming. I know I'm not doing enough.
This is about me.
Sorry.
I'm saying yes to everything and I'm volunteering to everything. And then I deliver about 30% of what in my head I feel like I've promised to deliver. And so my inbox is getting more stressful, like more, this is therapy. But I never really thought about those yeses. I will do that. I will do that. And then even though I can do it, but I'm not doing it and I'm not delivering it is actually potentially an erosion of trust. And now I'm scared, you guys. I'm just not going to say yes anymore.
Well, we're fucked. All right. This will be our last episode of Not All Business.
No, but
it's been great.
Yeah. So Clay has sorry to interrupt the show for 1 minute. We have a very important piece of business. Clay has this need.
I have a responsibility.
Yeah. Maybe you should explain the responsibility, Clay.
Yeah. So on our show, Carolyn, we have a no acronyms rule, but it's really a no acronyms without explaining what the acronyms is, or the acronym is, because we want to basically not gatekeep information and bring everybody along with us. So I noticed one acronym. But
we had two.
But Blakely said, Blakely says that there's two. So the one that I noticed is PIP, which we have mentioned on the show because I've been threatened by
He's on one right now.
and Blakely to be put on a PIP, which is a personal improvement plan.
Performance improvement
Performance
improvement plan.
Okay.
And Clay, what happens when you don't perform after being put on a PIP is you might be a part of a RIF. And
there you go.
RIF is a reduction in force. So essentially a layoff. Just make sure you get your PIP going so you're not part of the RIF that's about to go.
Yeah, we're about to have a RIF because Blakely's going to stop working on the podcast. So we're going to need to.
I'm just trying to maybe more importantly, maybe we need to get to the repair and the whole trust situation. But I say yes too much and I know it. And I never thought about it as hurting other people. I always think of it as hurting me because I'm taking on too much. And I'm like, that's actually could be damaging your team too, right? So
you mean if
I'm
you don't get
to some degree.
You mean if you don't get to it hurts the team, or because you're not giving them an opportunity to contribute, it hurts them?
Well, that's true. That's a little bit different. I think that is also an issue, but I think it's
I'm good
more
with it,
about
by the way.
An erosion of trust and reliability, right? I'm eroding some reliability.
Yeah.
I think is what I heard. So I don't know.
But listen, nowadays, the greatest thing you'll hear from people is I'm overwhelmed, right?
Yes.
That's been going on for a while. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed.
Yes.
Overwhelm is you're not setting boundaries. You're saying yes to too many things. And I would invite your listeners to look at, if they're feeling overwhelmed, what are they saying yes to that maybe they should say no, or I can't do that, but here's what I could do. Or to just say, let me check my schedule before I give you a yes or no. I've got it, because I've got 15 things on my plate. So when the auto yes, though, is hard.
Well, it's really easy to say yes in the moment because you are excited and you're energized and you're like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I'll do that. And then when it comes down to it, you look back, you've said yes too much.
But you want to keep trust. So the best thing you could do if you say that and realize, you say, yes, I'm totally into it. Great. Then you get home and are like, oh, that's never going to happen. Then the best thing you could do to restore trust is go back to that person and say, look, I know I said yes, but I can't do it. Here's what I could do for you, or I just can't do it, or, come back to me some other time. Again, the person might be taken aback for a second, but you will maintain trust because you're being sincere, you're being reliable with them, like to say, I won't be able to accomplish this. And you care, you're showing care. And so those three things would be huge for somebody. So I'd much rather hear, oh, you were excited, but now you can't do it. Or I expect you to do it and then you don't do it.
Yeah.
Then or you do it half-assed, right? And that's not cool.
Yeah,
so
that happens all the time with board work because you can be there, you're at the board meeting and you're excited and you believe in the cause and you want to do that. And then you leave that quarterly meeting and you've got these things on and then it's like the next one's coming up and you're like, oh shit, I didn't do everything I need to do. And then you feel bad because you've dropped the ball on your heart or it's something. And then saying no to that kind of stuff is hard. Like Blakely, you did that recently. Like just before we kind of got started, you stepped back from a major volunteer position that you were doing.
I had to, yeah.
But that was a really good thing for your health to like go. And I know it was really hard for you, but you're like, I just can't do all of this anymore.
It was taking a toll on my family. And what I love about this whole conversation is I really loathe personally feeling like the victim in something. And I realize, I don't even think I've ever had this aha moment by every time I'm like, I'm too busy. I'm so busy. I'm so stressed out. I'm so overwhelmed. I am basically playing a victim role in that situation. What I heard, Carolyn, is like, you need to take ownership of that. Like, you have the power to build boundaries and create trust with maybe a little bit more difficult conversation because maybe there's some no's in there, but there's also some harsh no's with myself and owning up to the fact that I am only busy because I choose to be busy. And it is eroding relationships and trust with my kids, with my colleagues, with my friends. And I've never flipped it like that. And now I'm just going to hear everyone say busy and I'm going to be like, no, that's a choice. That's a choice. So love it.
It is a choice. And also, I always, going back, I remember on the first episode with Jamie when you were talking and saying, yeah, we had this jargon stuff, but I'm going to give you one.
We were
because yes, for those of us that have yes as an auto response, then and you maybe don't want to go back and have to reframe everything and et cetera. Just remember this, if anything, just say, I can't tell you right now, but I can get back to you by tomorrow at 5 p.m. Or I can get back to you in a half hour. Or I can get back to you, if it's a big enough thing, a week from now at, next Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time or whatever. So the whole point is it's a commit to commit. And that way it's not an auto yes. It's kind of the practice of training yourself to take a step back and just say, I can't tell you yes in this moment, but I can let you know my answer 10 minutes, a week, a month, depending on the project, but it comes with a date and time when you will get back to that person. And in order to keep trust, you have to get back to that person by that time with an answer.
I love that. And I also heard earlier you say something like the way to say no gracefully. And it was like you get back on your commit and you know the answer has to be no. You hate to be that person that says no, but you have to start having some better boundaries or protecting your time. So I heard you say something like, I would be so excited to do that, but it's not right now. It's not possible right now. And should we just not over explain? Like, do you have a graceful way to say that, but not be like, it's because I have to do these 50 things or these things and my aunt is sick and this is happening? Like, can we just say no? Like, how do we say no, Carolyn, after we commit to commit?
Well, let me ask you, who has ever heard a best no from somebody? Have any of you ever heard a no from somebody that you were like, okay, and it was good? Because I have a way to say it, but I'd like to hear.
My father's best friend is this remarkable woman in town. Like she does everything, charities, service work. She was there for my father like every week while he was battling cancer. She got me a job. Like she's just this incredible woman, and she's so talented. I hope she's not listening. I don't know if she'll think it's funny. She's so talented at connecting people, being part of every organization, but not walking away with one single action item. And she's the most beloved woman in this town. And to me, she is saying no somehow, but we don't know how she's saying no. And so I hope whatever you say, like I've always wanted to be her. I don't want any action items.
The problem
be the
is,
most beloved person.
I can tell you exactly what she's saying. She's saying, you know who would be really good at that?
Yes, that's what she's doing.
Blakely Graham. Like I've never seen anybody better at executing that than Blakely. You know who's actually the top person? You know who I need to put you in contact with is Clay Carnell. He is whatever. And like she's like the connector. She's the delegator.
Yes, she's the connector.
Let's figure out, let's have the vision of who can do what.
Yeah.
And that also takes work, by the way. It does take work to understand the best flow of things. And it can be a mistake to jump in and say you're going to do it because often you aren't the very best person to do it. You're willing, but you might not be the most competent person. I think the best to answer your question, Carolyn, a really good no I've heard from an employee was, I'm happy to tackle that. I do have these 5 other things that are currently on my plate. What's the priority? Like, do you see this as something that needs to take precedence, or is this something that we can put out 2-3 weeks? Like, what's your timeline and when I can get that back to you? So it's not a hard no. It's just hey, you need to understand where this request is coming from and with a priority, which I think is really helpful because as a boss, we can assume that we know what's on their plate, but we're not living that life every day. So it's important for employees to communicate the request, their willingness, but also set it in the context of their current due date.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, that's key. That's a beautiful way to do it. So that absolutely gives you the example of everything on their plate and what's a priority, what's not, because it may be that is not the top priority when you remember or you hear all the other things.
Right.
And the other way too to say no, and again, I get this pushback all the time with people like, well, I can't say no to my boss. I can never say no to my boss. And I'm like, well, right there is a good start because sometimes you have to say no. What if they're asking you to do something that's out of your competence or out of sincerity, let's say? What if they ask you to do something illegal? I mean, it can happen sometimes. Are you going to say yes because you're afraid to say no? If you have that kind of fear, and that's a driver, our moods are drivers and emotions for how we show up and what actions we take. So for me, I always say it's better to say no in short or sweeter. You're not going to go, no, absolutely not. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
But like my sister the other day said no to her boss about something. But what she said was, no, that's something that I don't feel that I would be the best at, kind of going back to what you said, Blakely, about that person. But, I would be the best at that. And I just, it's a no for me, and she took it well. But you guys were ex-CEOs. Like, what if somebody came in and said no to you on a project? I mean, they must have over the course of your time. How did you respond to it?
Fired him. Like, you don't give a shit about this company. Terminated for
what
cause.
other 3-letter acronym
No
can we throw at a
unemployment.
person?
Yeah. I think, let me think.
I don't know that I got no's as much as people they'll be like, and then you get shit delivery, right? And so I don't think if I've ever gotten the hard no.
I've got a hard no once. I got a hard no once from a woman who said, I'll be honest, this just feels like it's outside of my job description of why I was hired. And I feel like I'm being asked to do this because I can do it, but not because I'm supposed to or being compensated to do it. So if there's like a special project with compensation attached to it, or you want me to spend time doing that, but it really feels over and above what I was hired for. And I had a ton of respect for that because it was true. It was one of those, hey, this person can do it all. Let's just keep throwing stuff at them. And it got away from their initial hiring role and the compensation that was commensurate with that. So I had respect for the way they handled that.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Can I ask, though, a follow-up, which is, was there a short-term consequence for that person because they said no, that they had to endure before you got to the good trust?
That's a good question. It was a frustration because it was urgent and I just really needed them to. I was looking at it like, can you just help me out here? Can we just be a team player? Yes, I know that's not your job description, but I need this done by Friday and you're the person I trust to do it. Can you just? But they had reached their limit because I had probably done that to them one too many times. And it was like, look, enough with this. And so it was frustrating and I didn't like it, but it did force me to take a step back, take a breath. And we did end up kind of maneuvering the role over the next month to include, to be more aligned with what was actually being done.
So, yeah, and you use trust. I trust this person to do that because you probably trusted them in all 4 domains, right?
Yes.
You trusted their reliability, sincerity, their competence, and their care.
Yep.
So, but it got to a better place, right?
It did, because then I trusted their sincerity to be honest with moving forward if we ever were getting out of whack again or out of line. Like they had every little time you can show that. Both ways, by the way, I think, where then I could respect it. Because if I responded with too bad, do this or you're fired, then that breaks down the trust. But because I said, I hear you, I receive that, let me step back, think about it for a bit, and then came back with a plan, then she had trust with me next time to be able to voice that opinion and be in a safe space to like, okay, I'm going to say how I really feel, and Heather's not going to fly off the handle and fire me. She's going to actually listen. And so it really built that for several years after.
Yeah. So that's a huge gift actually in a lot of ways. But people hate to say no because they hate conflict. They hate it. They'd rather chew their arms off. And so, but to me, I mean, that's one of the things, we talk about all the time is how do you handle conflict? How do you get comfortable? Not that you're going to love it ever, but get comfortable, and because it falls in the trust anytime. It has to be, you want to maintain that ability for people to trust you. Part of that means being involved in conflict sometimes when that goes against one of these distinctions.
So what do you think about, you said trust fall into trust. It made me think of the trust falls that you see on like TV and stuff.
No, thank you. I don't trust anyone for a trust fall.
Have you ever done it?
No, because it's ridiculous.
So you don't trust anyone?
No.
I haven't either.
No, I worry about their safety. It's like Trixie in the bathtub. I do not need to worry about a hairdryer falling into the bathtub. I do not need to worry about my 150 pounds breaking someone's wrist. No trust fall. No.
Because you're too heavy. But I want to know if Carolyn thinks there's any value in those types of team building exercises.
No, in a trust fall, I am anti-trust fall for a lot of that reason. Because also people don't pay attention and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. And then they're looking over here and the person like, now we're going to the hospital. It's ruining the whole training. And I think there was a video I used for one of my trainings where they were making fun of trust falls. And the person was like, okay, just climb up there on top of the desk and I'll catch you. And, the whole thing's a disaster. But I think there's a lot of things you can to do to build trust and with colleagues and, even family, et cetera. And part of that is conversation, communication. The other part is I do think that sometimes when we do these type of outdoor things together where we're having to work together as a team, we're going to have conversation. We're going to have to trust that this person's really competent in this and this person's this. That gets people together and talking. But to do a trust fall, I think, wasn't that like a 2000s thing?
Yeah, it was like on The Office, I think I saw
it. Was like every person had to do that.
No thanks. We did an escape room once. It wasn't great. The escape room is stressful and you're in a very small area. And then
I think the time clock is tough to build trust. Like if you've got a ticking time bomb in an escape room, I think it actually kind of erodes some trust.
Well, but that's a great point though, because how long does it take to build trust? Is there research about that?
I think it's an individual thing, but there also is how you're wired. Like for me, I trust until you show me I can't trust you. For other people, they don't trust until you prove that you're trustworthy. And I think part of that is how you're wired. The self-awareness piece of who you are and how you're wired. So if I were to ask you, Heather, do you trust first until somebody? Yeah.
I trust until you show me you can't be trusted.
Right. How about you, Blakely?
That's exactly right. I'm very I trust everyone, give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But when it's gone, it's probably a little slower for me to get it back. I hold on to some stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. And how about you, Clay?
Oh, I love that I'm being asked every question. This is fun. It's very situational for me. I think in general, with people I meet, I'm pretty trustworthy, but I notice that in certain situations, I can be the complete opposite where I need people to prove that they're trustworthy.
Yeah. I think that's linked to childhood stuff too, like trauma, or if you were burned one time and then your body kind of remembers that and you don't have that trust.
Yeah, because I know quite a few people that say, I would not trust. I don't trust. Somebody has to earn my trust. And that's a much longer process because, again, everybody's different. You do one thing and, you break trust. So it's a longer process. But if you know that about yourself, that helps then to be able to say, maybe it's okay to let it go a little bit. If this person, the first 2 months proves that, so far they're reliable, maybe I can go ahead and trust them a bit more than I would normally do in my time frame of trust.
Right. Yeah. It's like, Blakely, you can go below 8 Mile. You can.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, I know you
don't. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So this is one of those conversations that I could literally have a masterclass on and not get enough. Like I need more. But I know we are running out of time. But I did say that I had one sticky situation. Oh no, I have two. And so I do actually have a second.
Let's do it.
And since you love them so much, Carolyn, and this one is about maybe not as much about trust, but about the conversation that needs to happen that you just touched on. And I think that's going to be a different episode, but I'm going to let you answer it and then we'll make a decision if we need to have another episode. My teammate goes completely silent, no responses to Slack, emails unanswered for days, sometimes misses deadlines with no explanation. And when I finally confront them, they act like everything's fine. I'm totally overreacting. That sounds like gaslighting to me, right? This has happened before. I'm not sure how to prevent it from happening again or even what the issue is. And so this is not a boss employee situation. This is like a peer-to-peer. It sounds to me like this person's pissed off at this person. Like, how do you get that out in the air? What's the answer here?
Well, this is not a Slack conversation. This is an actual in-person conversation. And whether it's Zoom or even better if you can meet in person, but that's not always doable because people work across the globe sometimes. So to me, it requires sitting down and having some examples again, because the first thing somebody says is, what are you talking about? That never happens, right? But if you have clear things, here's what I'm noticing. I sent out, 14 emails over the last 2 weeks and I got 0 response. Here are, here's 3 examples of it. I would like to hear from you. What is going on for you? The fact that you're not answering Slack, you're not answering my emails. And every time I bring it up, you keep saying everything's okay, but what you're saying is not what's showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's out of sincerity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I'm hearing is we have a lot more to learn. We kind of picked away a little bit about trust and how that goes into communication. Sounds like we have another topic in our future for difficult conversations. Mm-hmm. And we can't let this episode
Another
end
favorite.
without my favorite Carolyn quote. And you're going to have to fix me, right? You said it at home all the time. I'm like, right conversation, wrong time, or wrong time, right conversation. And it's been so helpful for me over the years to be like, we're saying the right things. It's the wrong time, like reading the room. And I just want to thank you for that bit of wisdom, Carolyn. It has been so helpful to me.
The right conversation in the wrong mood is the wrong conversation. And I just used that a few hours ago.
Wow.
Yes, that's the quote. I knew I wasn't getting it right.
Works for family, friends, colleagues, leaders. You've got to remember. And that, again, moods are such huge drivers for how we take action. Anything we do.
Yeah.
That's why I always go back to the right conversation, wrong mood is the wrong conversation.
It's so good. I love, if I know there's a difficult conversation, I love hey, let's go grab a coffee. Like get out of the office, switch the mood, switch the thing, like sit down, just let's have the conversation we need to have without all the extra things around. Yeah. That's the best. Oh, this is wonderful. And did you want to say anything else, Blakely?
No, I'm going to let you take us home, Heather.
Can I say one thing though?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's a book called The Thin Book of Trust by Charles Feltman. It's a fantastic book for any of your listeners that are interested in learning more about trust. He wrote a great book, but The Thin Book of Trust by Charles Feltman.
Awesome.
Thin
Thank
Book
you.
of Trust.
Put that
in the show notes for sure.
By Charles Feltman. Mm-hmm.
Thin Book of Trust. Is it a thin book?
It's a thin book.
Yeah, good. I like thin
helpful,
books. Though. Okay. I didn't know if it was... I don't know.
No, it's 500 trees. It's War and Peace of Trust.
Yeah, the Thin Book of Trust, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, it's just been even better than I expected, and then I knew it was going to be awesome. So thank you for being here, Carolyn.
Oh, thank you.
I wrote down 4 pillars of trust: sincerity, reliability, competence, care. Completely changed the whole framework for trust for me because it's multidimensional. And I never really thought about it like that. But there's several layers to it. And it's not all in one thing to either have or not have. You can have it in layers. So tons to think about. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Before we let you go today, we ask all of our guests to answer one question, and we answer it to ourselves, which is, what brought a smile to your face this week?
So I'll start the smiles of the week.
Okay. Yeah.
Smiles of the week. So my smile of the week actually happened at 5:52 this morning. I get these texts before 6 a.m. always from my close friend in Texas. So I kind of hear them in her like accent. And her text was something, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have it in front of me right now.
Please paraphrase it in the accent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I got a good text. Is that
yes,
in Texas?
you do. Oh.
She said, "Girl, I've been catching up on your Not All Business podcast, and I was laughing so hard. The fact that you didn't know what see you next Tuesday meant. Oh my gosh." She's like, "I failed you as a friend. I failed you." And I'm like, I just appreciated that she took responsibility for teaching me what see you next Tuesday means.
Oh, I love that so much.
It was good. And that's not how she sounds. She actually sounds a lot different. She's going to listen to this, and I'm going to get a text tomorrow morning at 5:31 a.m. And she's going to be like, I don't sound like that.
No, you sound like Reese Witherspoon. That was good. That was really good.
That was really good.
I like it.
All right. Who's next?
I'll go. I had last night a fun, so I have several friends that have November 18th birthdays, and I think it's because it's like 9 months from
lot of
Valentine's
Scorpio
Day
in the world.
Well, it's like, what's wrong with Scorpio in the world? What is that? What's wrong with Scorpios?
Well, my son is a Scorpio. My brother's a Scorpio. They're hard relationships. I love them so much, but they're intense. And I love you, Heather.
Do you realize what you're just saying right now?
Yes, I am. I love all you Scorpios.
Yeah, sounds like it. We're going to have issues. Okay. Anyway, they brought fresh flowers. We had this dinner. So we had 3 of us that were birthday is November 18th, so we try to get together every year for our birthday. And we just laughed. We sat at a dinner table, laughed for 3 hours, just like guttural laughing, kind of the laughter through tears thing. It was, well, my soul needed that. It was really good. Mm-hmm. And they like me, even though I'm a Scorpio. So
I love Scorpios. I'm sorry. I would cut that if Clay never cuts anything I asked to cut. Whatever.
Because it's clickbait. I know.
Come on, we're trying to get people to listen and watch this show. And whatever you say is a gold mine. Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Just put my foot in it all the time.
I'll get out of the way so that we can end on Carolyn's, which I'm sure will be amazing. Mine's really simple. I got together with 2 friends. We sat in the corner of this like old German bar, and we drank beer and ate potato pancakes.
Schnitzel?
Well, I had vegetarian schnitzel, which was honestly not very good.
Right.
So don't order that.
What did I say about the tofurkey? Don't try to eat fake meat meant to be like meat.
But it didn't matter what I ate or what I drank because I was having just the best time with my friends. And for a few hours, I just had the best time laughing. It was awesome.
So fun.
Yeah.
So good. Mm-hmm.
It was much needed.
Yeah. It's all about connection, right?
Yeah.
2 people I trust.
Yeah. Yes, to people you trust. Yeah. Right, exactly. Well, mine is very simple. I love this time of year. And so I actually came home after a trip and went nuts and took out all my holiday stuff. And I put my tree up and everything. And as I was taking the ornaments out, I remembered I've got actually a porcelain tree that is 41 years old.
Wow.
And some of my ornaments I've had since I was a kid, and some were my parents. So as I was pulling these ornaments out, it just brought back so many memories, which I know Christmas can be or holidays can be stressful for people. But for me, there's a lot of happy memories, and it brought a smile to my face, like everything, because it just really lifted my spirits. So
I love that.
That's beautiful. I love that you've held on to those ornaments for so long.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I've got my little paint by number, actually, horse that I painted by numbers when I was 6 years old. I have it on my tree.
Oh, that's so
I was going to say the ornaments I've held on to from my parents are like the rollout cookies that tasted like salt, and then you painted them and shellacked them. I have so many of those. They don't even make it on my tree anymore. I have a special box.
I have like my little handprint. Did you have one with your little handprint in it?
I did, but we have Eldon's handprint, but we have a couple things for Eldon, like first Christmas, and then Lula's like, "Where's mine?" I'm like, second child. We love you too. Sorry.
Second child.
My mom did this wonderful thing every year. She had each of the kids record from like they were babies where it was just gurgle, gurgle, like those recording ornaments.
Oh, yeah.
And then up through they were 18 years old. And they had to give an ornament. Yes, so I have like 36 of these. Well, she has all of them, most of them, but I have some of them. And it's like, hi, Mama. Merry Christmas. That's Kate. I'm, 2 years old. And then I have like, whatever. Merry Christmas. I got to go. See you, Grandma, with my friends, but it's just like every stage of their life recorded. Super cute.
I've never
That's a
heard
gift.
of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
so cool.
Wait, so it's like a little recording device and you just...
Yeah, it's an ornament and then you just press play and they're like record and then you record on it and then you cover it back up and...
That's so cool.
You should do it for
That's
Empress.
beautiful.
It really is. It's a gift. So,
well, Carolyn, thank you so much for coming on. This was one of the most educational shows we have had, and I just appreciate you so much. So much.
Me too.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been great, and I loved it, and I'm very passionate about the topic, so it's fun for me.
Yeah.
Yay.
So where can people get a hold of you? Let's make sure that we tack that in the show notes as well.
Oh, yeah. I'm at, they can do Carolyn at velocity.plus.
Okay.
Or my website, velocity.plus.
Awesome.
Great.
So thank you.
Carolyn.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you and your conversations. They're great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you next Tuesday. Okay.
You mean Thursday.
Still works. Okay. And also, if you are not a subscriber yet, please hit subscribe on YouTube. It helps us reach more people, and we really appreciate your following.